What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerdcastle for the next episode of Sunless Sea. My name is Splattercat. Happy to have you here today as we hang out for a little while. It's time for us to finally do Visage. I know I've been skipping this place, but this is like the event that I've done the most in the game. Like, I've done this event a lot of times, and so it's one of those things where, like, I wanted to avoid the stuff that I'd seen about 1,000 times over and do all the little things around that, like, I had just never gotten around to while I was playing the game. So anyways, Visage is a town where everybody wears a mask. This is the port of Visage, where faces may not be naked, except for one, a stone monument the size of a village church, serenely gazing upwards. Oh, we can't go ashore because we don't have something awaits us. Well, here, let's cut down to the... Shit. How do I want to do this instead? Tell her to go back to work. She's still bitching about the fact that... Our bosun, or whoever it is, she's bitching about the fact that we've got the live specimen on board. And they don't like it when you have live specimens on board. Let's see if maybe we can go up to Nook. We'll get the port report from there. And once we've got the port report from Nook, maybe we'll have something awaits us so we can come back down to Visage. I always forget about something awaits you. Always forget about it. So if you don't know how the something awaits you prompt works, essentially something awaits you is a means for them to gate the progression of your character through the game. What it essentially does is that you can't do any events that are meaningful at any port unless you have something awaits you right here. And you get something awaits you about every 24 hours. So once per 24 hours, you'll get something awaits you. You can turn it in the next time you go into a port. But the downside to that system is that if you're in an area that has a bunch of islands all near each other, not only does it gate your progression on one island, it gates your progression for an entire chunk of the map unless you just want to sail around in circles, which to me feels like an exploit. I think it probably would have been better suited. Oh, that's right. We can't go into Nook, I don't think. Yeah, because we don't have the mushroom wine either. I forgot about that, too, man. I'm forgetting about all kinds of stuff. It might be a good idea once we have a larger hold just to keep, like, 5 mushroom wine around at all times, because it is a really, really important reagent for, like, everything in the game. There are tons of things that require mushroom wine all over the place, and it's just like you never really seem to have it on board when you need it. One of the initial ways when the game first came out, one of the only ways to make a lot of money was to take mushroom wine down to Geider's Morn. I'm sorry, not Geider's Morn, to Godfall. And if you took like 25 with you, I think every single time you turned in 5 of it, you would get quite a few echoes to the monks over there. And then you would turn in a bunch of stacks, and then you would sail back. And I did that a bunch of times when the game first came out, trying to farm up currency, because when it first came out, the game actually did not have a whole lot of ways for you to make money. All the good ways to make money were, like, obviously exploits. Gathering of Anarchists. That is nothing unusual here, of course. Most nights half the shadow hatches plots over cheap wine and old insults, but who's that officer in the crowd? Oh, it's our guy. The usual diatribes. The haunted doctor stands listening in rapt attention, his remaining eye closed. On a stage made from tables and upturned chairs, an attractive young man and woman take turns raging against injustice, and talking of the glorious day when London and the Continent and all others who dare to elevate themselves above others will face their reckoning. The irony is as ever lost. Once the meeting ends, he hurries over to thank you, glowing with second-hand fervor. "I've missed this," the doctor says, something strange taking over his face. If you didn't know better, you'd say it was a smile. He heads over to the young woman to try it out, renewed purpose in his stride. Oh, he's the determined doctor now. Oh, and his stats went up. Very, very nice. So that's the way that this whole entire system functions. As you do people's quests, their names will change. And so instead of being a haunted doctor, he'll be a determined doctor. And for example, for the Carnelian Exile, she'll be like the Carnelian Homebound or something like that. As you resolve their quest, their name will change. And every time there's a name change, their stats will go up by a couple increments. So usually it's by 3 or 4, and that's what it looks like right there. So our hearts have gone up pretty well. And then actually the thing that's really important is that it's maybe made his pages go up. Cool. We no longer have the haunted doctor. Very, very nice. Sometimes bad things happen though too. I don't know if I've ever brought that up, but sometimes terrible things happen to your characters as well. I can sell outlandish artifacts here, but I've only really got one of them. Captivating treasure, I've only got the one of as well, so it's like, why bother? Let's maybe head southwards down to Port Cecil. We still don't have something awaits you. July 1st is apparently a really, really long day for us here on the boat. The longest day ever. So I guess we'll come back for Visage later. Such is the cost of doing business. As far as I can tell, there's no reason to send creatures back to the Gant Pole in numbers. It did not count one of our creatures right there. If you recall, we sent back 2 creatures. It only got credit for one of them. So since it doesn't stack them up. I didn't really expect it to. That's not really in line with the way this game has always functioned. In my opinion, this game has always really tried to force players into like slow advancement rather than just like rocketing through stuff. And so I figured it probably wouldn't count, but it still would be nice considering we expended resources to kill those creatures. It'd be nice if we were rewarded for each and every one when they go back to the gant pole. Oh wow, we missed that shot. Okay. Oh, you can shoot them with torpedoes if it's already been launched before they go below. I need to stop, though, because I need to make sure that the other albino moray doesn't give us any trouble. There we go. The albino moray is dealt with, and we didn't back into the other one. We need more hunting trophies. That's the only reason. That, and he was in my way. And that's how I deal with things that get in my way. You just blast that fool. We can rescue a Jonah. Gain Stygian Ivory, an unprepossessing mass. And we've got Z eggs. Call them Z eggs, the bosun suggests. We don't want to tell the crew exactly what they are. They're safe to eat, but you know. I don't know if I got the no right there. I don't know. I've always fancied a career in voice acting or something like that, but I've never felt like I was any good at it. The channel gives me an opportunity to practice a little bit more. But it's like, I don't even know where... Oh, good, yeah, contact in the labyrinth. We'll get our strategic information here because we can take that now. And as we've done so many times before... We can take it, and we can turn it into... Use a memory of a distant shore. We've got so many of those. We can turn it into a vital intelligence that'll get us paid. Gather intelligence. We could also play a little bit of chess here, since our horror isn't too bad. So there it is. We failed and gained a terror. Failed and gained a terror. Ah, we succeeded. Odd thoughts bubble up each time you touch the chess piece. This one longs for home. That one has a secret desire for revenge against the slayer of its rank mate. This one will be queen one day. I think we've already read this, though. High risk challenge, 24%. We can still keep it going. I got plenty of fear to play around with, so it's not really that big of a deal. Oh, we gained 5. Ain't that a bummer? Hey, we succeeded again. And so now... we do have something awaits us. The chess players watch you carefully. Or we can go for an extra move. As you reach the crossroads in Port Cecil, a voice whispers, Pawn to Bishop 6. A rearing shape the size of a cottage, rather like a mitred bishop indeed, stands 6 yards to your right. A crevice in its coral side might be a cave mouth. You squeeze through the crevice into a narrow space like a stair. Irregular steps lead down. The silver light is strong here, and it grows stronger with each step downwards. The silvery light fills a sea cave dripping from the walls. It condenses to pools of whitish fluid on the uneven floor. Sea sound fills the cave strong and slow like the long beating of a heart. On a square slab of coral, someone has set up a game of chess. The pieces are different from the ones used in London. You see the spiraling bishops, the corner roots, the kin and terrible cream. As you touch each one, a deep voice whispers its name. We can move a paw. We can move a knight. The paw is apparently a safe move. The knight is apparently an aggressive move. Let's move the safe one. Ah, the cavern breathes around you. That felt charming. Thank you. The game soothes the pangs of dissolution in. But I want so to be less. I am tired of thought. Will you help me? Sleep will not enough. I desire no dreams. Will you help? I will offer assistance? In the flow of air through the cavern, you hear the voice of the principals languorously pleading. I offer an assistant, it flutes, and scintillac. You enjoy scintillac, aren't you? A rubbery man rises from a cyst in the floor. An iridescent cicatrice crosses its face. Even in this flood of silvery light, it pulses like a fevered moon. It shuffles closer. That's not a move that I know, but I was just looking at the root of the word. I assume that right there is an S sound. It might be a cicatrice, but that doesn't sound right to me. The phonetics of the back half imply to me that the opening C is probably cicatrice. I could be wrong, though. We now have the nacreous outcast. A rubbery man. Okay, salt flions, it wheezes. Unprecedented. A rubbery capable of human speech in however debased and pitiful a mode. My emissary, the cave whispers. Treat it gently. The whisper follows you back up the steps. Take it to the salt lions. Okay. I could gather Scintillac right now, too, if I wanted to. Which I think I will. We succeeded, and we've gained a Scintillac. So that'll be a little bit of cash for later. Something to look forward to. I've also picked up the Nacreous Outcast is an officer, as far as I remember. Yeah, he's a cook. I forgot about that. I forgot that he was a cook. I remember him as a character, but I didn't recall that he was a cook. So that's good, because that fills in our final slot and brings our pages up slightly. So that's one of our dump stats right there, so I'm glad to see that it's finally getting a little bit augmented. Unfortunately, he looks a little bit slimy and rubbery, so we probably won't touch him or like hang out. Yes, you can have sex with the Nacreous Outcast. I'm not even kidding you right now. You can have sex with every single person on your crew, including this dude right here. If you're feeling particularly adventurous, I'm not going to kink shame you. Sometimes you got to find out. That's the way that life goes. You got to compile those new experiences, but I'm not going to promise you that I won't silently judge you for it and just be like, bro, he had sex with an octopus monster. It's kind of like that Jay and Silent Bob moment where Jay says that he'd be totally fine. Like, man, homeboy banged a Martian. It's sometimes you got to be the first guy to cross that threshold, or the first lady. I don't know what he's equipped with. I mean, he's got tentacles, so I think either way he could get in there. Like, you could either slip something in a fold or let something slip inside you. I don't know. It seems like either way he's equipped for the journey, but I'm just not that curious. I'm also married, so that's the other half of it. It is what it is. Like, hey, sorry, tentacle monster. Under normal circumstances, I'd be gung-ho, but I'm taken. I don't know where I want to take all this stuff. Errands for the Acolyte? I have crates. I can't drop those off there. The Smith's Emporium, I can't drop them off here either. With 3 Devil Bone dice, we could get ourselves locked in for the Smith to make an assembly housing for our Cannoneer's weapon. Try to keep that in mind. In fact, I'm going to get a little scrap of paper out here, and I'm going to start writing down some of the things we need, because I think I've done a poor job at like stocking up and trying to do some of this stuff, and I feel like adding it all to like a concurrent list will help. And so that's going to be, I need 3 Devil Bone, and that's going to be to Station 3, and it's for the Smith. This is a game where I feel like if it actually had a notepad in game, I think that would be great too. I don't know if there's a mod that will allow that to happen, but having actually like a text notepad in game would be incredible, because then you could just keep note over everything. Restless Nights, we will ignore them for now. Delivering a letter, I don't think, oh, it needed to go to Nook, that's why I haven't done it. Questions for the Acolyte, observing the latest autopsies. Can I actually drop off more than the one? There we go. Let's deliver. We can exchange a long box for a heart metal ingot. I think I need that, so I'm going to do it. And so we now have Station 3's heart metal ingots, which is good. The legalities of trading in heart metal are vague. If its existence were acknowledged by laws, it might be forbidden, so put it somewhere out of the way. And so we'll get the heart metal ingots. We've got 2 of those now. I think we should go get Devil Bone dice and come back instead of going to London. I mean, like, yeah, we could go to London right now. They don't have any shops available. But with the 7 fuel that we have on board at the moment, did I take the port report, by the way? We should also observe the latest autopsies, which apparently it's a rubbery man. The operation is long and slow. The Acolyte has to cut into several parts of the rubbery corpse because several things that look like strange lumps turn out to be ordinary rubbery anatomy. At last she finds and extracts the piece. Rather than the usual black lump, the rubbery man keeps his dark secrets in amber form. The Acolyte cannot make anything of it and sets it aside in a tray for her superiors to look at. Let's gain a tale of terror. We've got some favors. Okay, so we are an acquaintance with the austere Acolyte for right now and some fragments. Nicely done. With 7 fuel, oh, that's such a long run, though, to Mount Palmerston. That's, like, enormous. I don't know if it's worth it. Let's do it on the next trip. Let's go back for right now. We'll go back to London. We'll get everything snagged in, and then we'll go up and around. We'll swoop back down to Station 3 to make the the casing, and I think he needed heart metal ingots in order to fix it to the ship or something like that, and we've got 2 of those now. I think they're worth 250 if you sell them, but they don't take up hold space. I don't know if I'll get in trouble for bringing those into London, so I guess we'll learn that the hard way if so. I traded a couple of secrets for them, though, and so I'd be willing to actually trade some of my Admiralty favors in order to sneak them into London if I have to. Luckily, it only takes us 1 expenditure in order to get into London, so it's not that big of a deal. We go to the Shepherd Isles and probably lock that in. The Auroral Megalops. He does enjoy his syllables, doesn't he? Alright, so we'll bring that down to there. Compile a port report. And I may have to blap that thing before this goes any further. I don't really care. I'm perfectly fine bucking on fools. I'm not one of those people that's like terrified of weapons and stuff like that. In fact, I quite enjoy them. I mean, my big argument is that, like, when everybody's got weapons, you kind of want to have one, too. I view the United States as sort of like an arms race. Like, all of my neighbors have loads of guns. Everybody else has loads of guns. And it's just like, well, just in case any of them get out of line, I should probably have one, too. You never know. We'll butcher it for supplies. We'll have dinner. And that's how the country just keeps arming itself right there. And everybody else I know is pretty much of the same, too. They're like, well, I like shooting guns and they're fun. But really, everybody else has guns, and that kind of worries me. So, you know, when it starts to pop off, I kind of prefer that I have one, too. Because it's only a matter of time. I really figure, you know, with all things being possible, going along the linear span of time, it's only a matter of time before somebody goes crazy in my near vicinity. And so it's like, well, maybe I should have the implement that allows me to dispose of them, possibly. Yeah, reduce my terror. Why not? And that'll give us a memory of distant shores. I don't have recent news, and I sneezed, apparently, when they came out. Great. That'll endear us to the warrior ladies. And we should have enough fuel, I think, to get back to London, maybe, if I turn out the lights right now. If I turn out the lights. I'm actually thinking about buying a shotgun right now. That's what I don't have, a 12 gauge. I got a buddy who won one. He went to a gun show, and he won a shotgun. Why not? He's trying to sell it right now. I think I'm going to email him and just be like, hey, man, I'll take it off your hands. I'll drive the cash over to your house tomorrow. Don't even mess with that Craigslist shit or that cowguns.net shit. Just hit me up. I'll take it. It's kind of a garish shotgun, though. Like, I don't really know what to say about it. It's all done out in, like, tactical camo and everything. Like, I'd prefer it just be, like, gunmetal or, like, black. Like, I don't really care about the aesthetics as long as it functions, I guess. It's got the pistol grip. The shorty shoulder stock. Kind of an interesting looking shotgun. I'm actually more interested in the pistol grip than anything else, in all fairness. And the fact that my buddy owns it, and so it's like, get the homie discount since he got it for free or whatever else anyways. Yep. Phosgene Bleak. Is that a normal pirate or is that one of the little frigates? Oh, it's one of the normal pirates. It's one of the ones I can easily bully. Hooray, bully for you, little pirate steam pinnace. I feed you torpedoes. And we've got ourselves 2 supplies. So that's good. Hardtack and a basket of nails. I guess piracy has been a little rough recently. It's been a little rough. What did we bring back from our last spoils? A basket of nails. Not the most exciting of treasures, if I do say so myself, but treasures nonetheless. I hope we can make it back into port off this one fuel. If we don't, it would be a shame to get so stranded. I've always felt like they should add an event that if you're within like a certain distance of London and you run out of fuel, like you just, another ship finds you and tows you in, because they totally have those. I live next to the ocean. I live in the Bay Area. There are tugs like everywhere. You can see them all over the place. They help bring in the big dock ships over in like Emeryville and stuff like that. Surprisingly enough, most of the big ships don't go into San Francisco. They go into like Emeryville and all those little cities that are right along the bay right there before you cross the bridge. It's also, if you're actually from the Bay Area, most people use the Bay Bridge. The Golden Gate Bridge is kind of a tourist trap. It's a straightforward challenge for me to set something aside. Her enduring Majesty's Customs Service works closely with both the Ministry of Public Decency and the Masters of the Bazaar. Today they have selected you for an inspection. Don't cheek them. I'm not going to declare it. However, I can talk my way out of the search, or I can go with a 90%. Let's go with the 90%. They tramp up and down your freshly mopped stairwells in their nasty boots. They poke and pry and prod, but they find nothing. Good. Messages from the Harbor Master. Oh, we've got the blind bruiser here who wants us to do a mission for him yet again. Sure, why not? Wants me to go to Khan's Heart. Sounds good to me. Don't have a problem with it. She's down the gangplank as soon as she's docked. I need to talk to Penstock, she says. The land agent, the one at the bazaar. She hesitates and bites her lip. Will you come with me? Sure. I don't know who this is that's doing this, but I'll go with her. Penstock's land agency, a modest office in an immodest location, hard against the eastern flank of the bazaar, that spired fortress of commerce that towers over London. Penstock stoops like a clerk and coughs like a miner, but his eyes are very wise. There is another beneath the bazaar, Penstock declares, a paler sea. I would imagine you might make the bargain your mother made. Yes, I helped her go down there, but she took a terrible chance even then, and the bazaar is not well. Not now, anyways. Are you certain? The daughter follows Penstock back into the shop to a redly lit grotto, followed from the bazaar's carapace. A heavily chained cage lift awaits you there. It must descend to the most secret spaces of the bazaar. Penstock's wicked, she says. He has an understanding with the bazaar. He let my mother pass through long ago to make her bargain, and now I will follow. Is that really such a terribly good idea? I can discourage her, or I can let her go down. I want to match my mother, she says reasonably. I want to learn the great signs, the courier. The bazaar is the only one who will teach me, and I have to go. All right, actualize as necessary. The cage rises, rattling into view. Your officer is shivering and caked with lumps of something like ivory-colored snow, but grinning brilliantly. The sun at sea, she cries. Oh, the bazaar. Oh, there's so much more than the bazaar. My mother, I have back what she took from me. She taps you playfully on the shoulder as you haul back the lift door. Thank you, and here's a little present I picked up on the shore. Did she get what she wanted? Oh, yes, and so much more. I have one more tattoo now, and it's one that no one will ever see. Or will see. Oh, it's one of those tattoos. You got your flippers tattooed. I got you. That's cool. That's all good. A smile, a wink, and a butterfly tattoo, an intense and detailed knowledge of weaponry and engines. We now have Maybe's rival. So she now has Veils, irons, and engine power plus 150. So she's an engineer. Let's move him out because he's Veils 8. She's Veils 7, so we're not losing much there. And in turn, we're getting a bunch of irons. And we're getting amazing engine power. Like, that's actually almost half the engine power of what our initial starting engine was, all by her lonesome. So that's done and taken care of. Trinkets. The man waiting is not a cultist. He's just another ordinary citizen wearing a silken blindfold. In a few years, perhaps everyone will be wearing them. Still a firmly sealed crate of what absolutely are not sorrow spider eggs. Well, that's a relief. Or maybe you just got lucky. Either way, they made it, and so did you. You hand them over, and you get 100 echoes. Huzzah. Roser's Wharf. What do we have going on over here? We lost our free evening looking around. A veteran privy councilor seeking outlandish artifacts. We can do that. He pays us 150 for the outlandish artifact instead of the 100 that we would normally get. He says that it's inferior to London workmanship, but it'll make an acceptable conversation piece nonetheless. He snaps his fingers at a servant and says, pay the captain. Oh, to have servants to carry your money. So wealthy are you. So wealthy are you that you've got servants to carry your money. That's how rich you are. You need an indentured servant, or at least hired help, just to carry your wallet. That's how heavy it is. Holy shit. Bespectacled Admiral, we're going to give him our vital intelligence, so there it is. We gain another favor. We're supposed to be turning over... We have... Where did our honey go? Might not be sold, but we're supposed to be giving that to somebody. Go to my lodgings, I guess. We can afford an elegant townhouse, so why not? You have your crew heart your things from the blind helmsman to your new address. If anybody respectable calls, they'll pass as servants. Well, there it is. Resting is now more expensive, but more... Why is it more expensive to sleep in my own house? I've bought it. Like, I own it. Why would it cost me money to sleep in my own house? That's upsetting. I will hire on more crew, so there it is. For a total of 12. We will put the ship in the dry dock. We will use the Admiralty yards. So there we go. We lost 3 favors and 24 echoes, but our hull is repaired. And it's a good thing I didn't forget to do that, because sometimes I forget to do that. And then finally, we've got a new recruit over here. It's just a random sailor. My name is Splattercat. This is Sunless Sea Zubmariner. I will see you all in future episodes. Thanks for stopping on in. Get the game down below if you wanted to sandbox it up for yourself. Bye, everybody, and I'll see you next time.